So when we boil things down to what the business is responsible for, we should understand that managing the data that we have is a business issue. So responsibilities exist within an organization for different aspects of that organizational structure and hierarchy. So finance is responsible for money, it's responsible for budgets and accounting. Human resources manages employees, personnel issues, benefits, administration, and things like that. Facilities might ensure that the buildings are in working order and doing things like orders and for parts, for the buildings, the grounds, all those things. Information technology and information systems department, that is responsible for physical storage, for distribution of data itself, for the security of that data, for backing up and archiving data as well. So is the IT or IS department really responsible for the data? And really, if you think about it, while it facilitates the flow of data from location to location, it is ultimately not the responsible party for the data itself. These other areas within a business are certainly responsible for the data. So business decisions are one of the most important things when you start looking at data management. So all decisions about what is collected, how that data is collected, how it's validated, how we ensure that it is good, all these are business decisions. And then decisions about how information is to be handled and stored are also business decisions. It's not necessarily IT that makes those decisions, although IT and IS would have recommendations for how to do those things. So data management is not purely a technical issue. The definition of the data to be stored is the responsibility of the full business, the entire business itself. Most organizations count the cost of ineffective data management, and real business opportunities may be lost as a result of the inability to respond quickly to changing requirements. So their inability to be agile with their data can cause a serious loss. And there are many situations where information exists, but it is not accessible within the right time frame. It's not quickly accessible for people who need it. So decisions can be lost or unable to be made quickly because the information itself is not available within a short time frame. So the benefits of having a data management function in a business are twofold. Well, on the business side, the business-oriented benefits, you have cost savings because the efficiencies that you gain within the data collection and dissemination process. So it takes less time and effort to make something happen. And that spills over not just from the data itself, but you can use the data to gain other efficiencies as well. System-oriented benefits are reducing cost by maintaining a single system instead of a bunch of systems, and that reduces the duplication across the individual systems that you might have had. So notice at the top I changed the title of this slide to Managing Data is a Staff Issue. So one of the things that should be noted here is that while the business is responsible for making those data decisions, the individual people are the ones who are responsible for making the data quality of the highest. So let's talk about a couple of people that are associated with managing data. I'm a data analyst. How can I help? Well, A data analyst often is someone that has a lot of skills, but they also have domain knowledge in one dominant area. So, for example, there might be a data analyst that's assigned to the human resources area. So they have a very deep knowledge in human resources and payroll, but they may not have as much knowledge in another area like facilities. But the wide range of skills can be applied to many different domain areas. So those skills that would apply in any of the area could be practitioners that mostly use Excel and vendor-specific dashboards. That can be a type of person that you would see in a role like this. You could see coders who use raw data and languages like SQL, R, and Python. You could also see mathematicians or statisticians, really, who use statistical software like SAS, SPSS, and R. But there are data-driven jobs, and there is a spectrum of data-driven jobs as well. So the data analyst is a broad, common term for anybody who uses data extensively in a job. So you may consider yourself a data analyst if that's what you do. There's also the idea of a data engineer, which is a person who gathers, cleans, and merges data into a form that analysts can use. So they are actually engineering what that data looks like. A business analyst is a person who serves as an interface between business stakeholders and the technical stakeholders. So it's kind of a liaison between those two areas, so that the business analyst needs to speak both the technical language and the business language. A data visualization specialist is someone who creates infographics, dashboards, and other assets to present data in an understandable way. These things can be very important for people who are part of a decision-making process in a business. So having a visualization specialist to create those things that allow that business to make proper decisions is something that is very sought after. So a data scientist, and let me just note that these jobs that I'm speaking about now often require at least a master's degree and sometimes a PhD. A data scientist is a broad term that usually refers to people who have a broad understanding of the mathematics, statistics, and computer science behind data analytics itself. A statistician is a person who focuses on statistical modeling in order to derive information. Quantitative analysts, this is someone who's mathematically skilled and works in financial services for modeling stocks and securities and things like that. And a financial analyst is someone whose focus is financial statements and auditing, forecasting, and business performance. So you can see that all of these things are certainly related to the data science area, and these are just a few of the things that lead to data science. But there are certainly others, and data scientists are sought after in a wide variety of areas, including government work. So it's very important to distinguish between data analysis, which is the use of a lot of the tools that we have, and data science, which is the creation of the tools and things like that. So there is a difference between all of these areas, but it certainly is the staff in a business who is responsible for ensuring that the data is created properly.